Falling for someone is a powerful experience. It can ignite inspiration or cause distraction, uplift your soul or cloud your clarity. But not all feelings are equal. Some come from a place of sincerity and divine purpose, while others are born from fleeting emotions and unchecked desires. In the Islamic tradition, the distinction between love that elevates and desire that misguides is critical. So how can you tell if your emotions towards someone are truly from Allah and not just from your nafs, ego, and base desires? Here are 4 signs to help you reflect deeply and spiritually on your attachment. The feeling draws you closer to Allah, not further. One of the most profound indicators that your feelings have a divine origin is the spiritual impact they have on your life. If the thought of this person awakens a sense of sincerity in your prayers, brings softness to your heart, and makes you more aware of your relationship with Allah, then this is a significant sign. This kind of love acts as a mirror that reflects your own shortcomings and motivates you to improve, not just for the sake of impressing someone, but to be pleasing in the eyes of your Creator. You might notice that your salah becomes more focused, your du'as more earnest, and your general conduct more aligned with Islamic values. The remembrance of this person becomes intertwined with the remembrance of Allah. You become more conscious of your gaze, your interactions, and your thoughts. You avoid anything haram not just out of fear, but out of love, both for Allah and the purity of the emotion you feel. Contrast this with desire that stems purely from the nafs. It often leads to obsession, restlessness, and negligence in religious duties. When emotions are driven by lust, they distract from prayer, promote secrecy, and diminish one's sense of accountability. There is a constant inner tension, not of growth, but of guilt. The Quran reminds us beautifully in Surah Ar-Ra'd, "Indeed, in the remembrance of Allah do hearts find rest." Quran 13:28. If your heart finds peace when you think of them because it draws you closer to Allah, take that as a sign of divine alignment. You trust the timing, even when it's delayed. Sometimes, the path to love is not linear. Distance, pauses, or even detours can occur. When a relationship is part of your divine journey, the pauses won't lead to despair. They'll lead to patience. You won't see delays as rejections, but as opportunities for refinement. You'll begin to understand that Allah is not just giving you a person. He's preparing you for the right moment, when you're most spiritually ready. A heart aligned with Allah does not rush. It waits with dignity and trusts the unseen. This doesn't mean you don't feel disappointment or sadness. You're human after all. But beneath that emotion lies a firm conviction that whatever is meant for you will reach you, and whatever isn't, no matter how appealing, will slip away for your protection. This concept is beautifully captured in a hadith. What missed you was never meant for you, and what reached you was never going to miss you. Sahih, authenticated narration. Feelings driven by the nafs, however, often come with anxiety, impatience, and even desperation. You may feel an urgent need to act on them, fearing that if you don't, you'll lose something precious. But divine love invites you to slow down. It teaches you that Allah is never late. He's just aligning your timeline with your growth. If you can look at delays not with bitterness but with quiet trust, that's a sign your feelings are rooted in faith, not just emotion. You protect your values, not compromise them. When your attachment to someone causes you to guard your heart, rather than give it away recklessly, you're likely operating from a place of sincerity. You're aware that love is not just about connection, but about boundaries, protecting your deen, your dignity, and your long-term goals in the hereafter. You become careful about the space this person occupies in your heart and mind. You refrain from haram interactions, not because you're afraid of getting caught, but because you respect the sanctity of what you feel. You want the outcome to be halal and blessed, so you tread cautiously. Desire from the nafs, however, often seeks shortcuts. It justifies sin in the name of love. It whispers, "It's okay, you'll get married eventually," or "Just talk, nothing will happen." These are dangerous thoughts because they erode your principles bit by bit. But love from Allah inspires taqwa, a conscious awareness of boundaries. You realize that if this love is to survive and thrive, it must do so in the light, not in the shadows. You want Allah to be part of the story, not someone you hide the story from. True feelings make you more principled, not less. They make you cautious with your gaze, intentional with your speech, and committed to earning Allah's pleasure. As the Prophet reminded us, "Verily, there is a piece of flesh in the body. If it is sound, the whole body is sound. It is the heart." Bukhari and Muslim. Protect that heart by keeping your feelings pure. That's how you know they're from a divine source. You asked Allah to remove it, but it still purifies you. One of the clearest signs that your feelings are more than just emotional whims is when you've sincerely prayed for them to be removed, and yet they remain, not as a temptation, but as a means of spiritual refinement. Many people, after performing istikhara, the prayer of guidance, expect immediate clarity. But sometimes the feeling persists, not because it's meant to lead to marriage, but because it's meant to lead to transformation. You begin repenting more, praying with sincerity, and reflecting on your intentions. Even if the relationship doesn't materialize, you become a better person through the process. You draw nearer to Allah, discover parts of yourself you never noticed, and let go of expectations with grace. This is the beauty of divine love. It purifies you, even if it doesn't end the way you imagined. Sometimes Allah places someone in your heart, not to stay, but to wake you up. As the Prophet said, "When Allah loves a servant, He tests them to hear their dua." Tirmidhi. These kinds of feelings are tests that shape your soul. If you're growing in patience, surrender, and faith, then the feeling is doing its divine job, whether or not it leads to the outcome you hoped for. What should you do? When navigating feelings, especially strong ones towards someone, it's important to combine spiritual practices with self-awareness. Here are some practical steps. Pray istikhara, the prayer of guidance. Seek Allah's guidance earnestly, asking Him to remove the attachment if it's not good for you, both in this life and the next. Then observe your heart. If the feeling stays but shifts into something more peaceful and purposeful, take note. Watch what the emotion does to your character. Ask yourself, am I becoming more generous, more disciplined, more connected to my Creator? Or am I becoming more distracted, more emotionally chaotic, and less present in my worship? 3. Accept delays with dignity. If the connection isn't progressing as you'd hoped, don't panic. Trust in Allah's wisdom. Sometimes He delays because He's making you grow. Sometimes He removes because He's protecting you from what you cannot. Yet see, keep Allah in the center. Don't make this person your Qibla. Even if they're meant for you, they can't replace the one who placed them in your heart. Keep turning back to Him in dua, especially when your feelings overwhelm you. You can always say, Ya Allah, if they're good for my deen, my dunya, and my akhirah, make them mine with ease. But if not, remove them gently from my heart and replace them with what is better. Conclusion: love, in its purest form, is a path to Allah. It softens the soul, strengthens the heart, and polishes the mirror of your character. If your feelings for someone make you a better Muslim, lead you to greater consciousness of Allah, and inspire you to seek what is halal and dignified, then perhaps, just perhaps, those feelings are not just from you. They are a gift from the one who knows what lies in your heart. But remember, even love from Allah doesn't always mean a relationship will happen. Sometimes it means spiritual transformation, and that, in itself, is a divine success. Keep walking with faith, and Let love, the right kind, lead you back to the one who created it.